The Nikon Z7 III has become one of the most talked about cameras in recent rumor cycles, occupying a tricky space between desire and skepticism. For many enthusiasts, it exists in a kind of FOMO purgatory, just believable enough to keep hopes alive, yet shrouded in mythical allure like a photographic unicorn. For those of us who spend far too much time parsing patents, forums, leaks, financial reports, and whisper networks, the Z7 III is impossible to ignore. But what exactly could this camera be? Where would it fit within Nikon's current lineup, and could it realistically ascend to become the flagship in its segment? To understand the Z7 III, it helps to examine Nikon's full-frame mirrorless lineup as it stands today. Nearly every major model has seen a refresh in the past few years. The Z5 II, Z6 III, ZF, and even the flagship Z8 and Z9 have all evolved in terms of processing power, autofocus sophistication, and video capabilities. Yet one camera remains somewhat frozen in time, the Z7 II. While still an impressive body in terms of image quality, it now feels noticeably behind Nikon's modern offerings in autofocus speed, responsiveness, and overall performance. Photographers continue to love the files it produces, but pairing a Z7 II with a ZF or Z8 highlights its limitations. The camera simply shows its age when placed alongside more modern counterparts, despite still being capable of exceptional results in the right hands. Rumors surrounding the Z7 III are straightforward in concept but layered in complexity when it comes to execution. The prevailing idea is that Nikon could take the brains of the Z8, its processor, autofocus system, and software algorithms, and transplant them into a lighter, more compact body. Something along the lines of the Z7 II or Z6 III form factor. This approach would give photographers access to cutting-edge autofocus, improved algorithmic processing, and a much faster, more responsive experience. However, the choice of sensor remains a point of debate, with two primary theories dominating the discussion. The first theory envisions the Z7 III as a still photography monster using a 60-megapixel non-stacked sensor, similar to what we've seen in high-resolution bodies from Leica and Sony. This kind of sensor emphasizes ultimate detail, dynamic range, and base ISO performance rather than raw speed or video prowess. A non-stacked design naturally means slower readouts and more pronounced rolling shutter, but it also aligns with Nikon's existing hybrid and video-first bodies. In other words, the Z7 III wouldn't need to compete in 8K filmmaking, it could exist purely as a high-resolution stills-focused powerhouse, appealing to studio photographers, landscape shooters, and fine art creators. The second theory is more ambitious and potentially more disruptive. It suggests Nikon might adopt a 50-megapixel stacked sensor, akin to what Sony offers in the A1. Coupled with Z9 class processing power, this version of the Z7 III would be incredibly fast, capable of handling enormous detail, and essentially bridging the gap between high-resolution photography and professional-level speed. But this approach comes with risks. It could overlap too closely with the Z8, confusing the lineup, and would likely push the price into a much higher bracket, making the camera less accessible to its intended audience. Of all the rumors, the most plausible scenario seems to be a practical one. Nikon could take the Z6 III chassis, including its 5.76 million EVF IBIS system, and articulating screen, drop in a 60-megapixel non-stacked sensor, add the latest processor and autofocus algorithms, include modest video capabilities, and price it around $2,800. This approach minimizes R&D costs while delivering maximum impact to photographers who want a modern, high-resolution full-frame body without stepping up to a Z8. While the articulating screen might not excite everyone, it's a practical compromise that avoids a full-body redesign. Not flashy, but undeniably smart. Understanding why the Z7 III suddenly feels feasible requires looking at Nikon's pricing strategy. After recent reductions, the Z6 III sits around $2,999, while the Z8 remains above $3,500. This creates a noticeable gap in the $2,300 $3,000 range, an interval where Nikon currently offers little to attract mid-range full-frame buyers. Canon and Sony do not suffer from this issue. Canon offers a smooth step-up path from the RP to R8, R6 II, R6 III, R5 II, and beyond, while Sony's lineup, though complicated, includes multiple high-resolution options in the mid to high $2,000 range. Nikon, by contrast, spikes early in price and leaves an abrupt void. A Z7 III could occupy this space perfectly, sitting above the Z6 III and ZF in terms of resolution and photographic precision, yet clearly below the Z8 in speed, stacked sensor performance, and professional video features. Essentially, it could be Nikon's answer to Sony's A7 III series, a camera devoted to detail and image quality rather than high frame rates or hybrid video ambitions. From a strategic standpoint, Nikon's decisions are never just about sensor size, megapixels, or autofocus points, they're about brand positioning. The company has spent the past several years methodically rebuilding its lineup, focusing first on professional bodies, then mid-range, then entry-level, and now video-focused products. While full-frame and lower-priced models have sold well in volume, they come with lower profit margins. Nikon's core profitability comes from high-end full-frame bodies and premium lenses, where margins are higher and brand prestige remains intact. In this context, the Z7 III is not an obvious business priority. High-resolution sensors cater to a niche market: studio photographers, landscape specialists, architectural shooters, and fine art creators. Producing a 60-megapixel sensor in relatively low quantities is costly. That cost either inflates the camera's price toward Z8 territory or risks shelving the product entirely. Yet there is undeniable demand for a smaller, travel-friendly, high-resolution full-frame body. Many photographers love the Z7 II for its color science, ergonomics, and dynamic range but don't want a Z8. They want something lighter, more deliberate, with the soul of a D810 or D850 but paired with modern autofocus and processing capabilities. Whether Nikon views this niche as strategically worthwhile or an unnecessary detour remains a central question. This debate spills over into online forums and discussion groups, which are divided almost perfectly into two camps. The first argues that the Z7 line is effectively dead. Some claim Nikon representatives have even hinted there will be no Z7 III, asserting that the Z8 fills the role a Z7 III would logically occupy. From this perspective, waiting for a hypothetical camera is wasted energy. The best tool is the one already in your hands. The second camp is loyal to the Z7 II's ethos. They cherish its ergonomics, colors, and dynamic range but acknowledge that the camera is falling behind. They don't want a Z8, they want a spiritual successor to the D810 and D850, high megapixels, excellent dynamic range, robust autofocus, and a compact, comfortable body. This group includes landscape photographers, architectural shooters, studio artists, and travelers who value portability. Many are even willing to forego a stacked sensor entirely, prioritizing still image quality over hybrid speed. The question remains, will the Z7 III be a kingmaker, filling a long-overlooked gap in Nikon's lineup, or remain a ghost, forever whispered about in forums and rumor cycles? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, photographers, enthusiasts, and industry watchers alike continue to weigh their expectations, hopes, and priorities as the rumors swirl.